see if it remembers. Okay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I think we are live. Hello, everyone. It is April 28th here for our Monday Night Legend of the Mist campaign in Highglade. And we've called this Twilight in the Dales. And so with our recap to get us started today, we have Jared Maximus giving us the recap, hopefully in character.
All right. So basically, after the issues we had in the woods with those robber bandits, musical ones at that, and whatever entity or creature we had encountered in the inner sanctum of the woods, we made our way back to the estate. And really, we're kind of took a breather. We were coming on the cusp of a festival. Don't remember the exact name of the festival, but
Emberlight
it's very
Vigil.
Emberlight Vigil, which is very big. So we had our own one there, um, in by the manor, and then one in Main Highglade, which we were told to attend by the Viscount when we gave him a debriefing of what we had encountered in the woods. And while the festival was happening in Highglade, people were coming out and enjoying the festivities. Children, the elderly, rich and poor were there. A bird from myth, I want to say a fire swallow, made an appearance, and it seemed to be kind of ominous when seen. There was an elderly lady who knew some of the lore and fed us it as the fire swallow made its appearance and led people after it. It's very inspiring, so people couldn't help but chase it. Unfortunately, it led them into the woods. And the woods aren't our friends because some of the kids ran after it. We were able to find some, but one went way deep. When we went deeper into the forest, our old friend the miasma was there waiting for us and pretty much waylaid us. Um, we did our best to fight it off. I got entangled. Um, Ashrin got entangled. Chewbacca, you know, assisted and freed her, but they got disarmed. So at this moment in time, I'm entangled, I think, by my leg, and both Ashrin and Chewbacca actually stepped back out of the woods since they were disarmed, and the boy is still deep in the woods, and we're gonna take it from there.
There you go. This is the boy, Toma.
So that's what I got. Did I miss anything? Please feel free to add.
You're good. I think that I recalled that Chewbacca and Ashran were tangled, and you went to go get your sword. You had a tough choice. Do I help them get untangled, or do I get my sword back? Because you were disarmed by you and
Correct.
Chewbacca both were disarmed by the vines. They like reached out and grabbed your weapons and pitched them. And so you saw your sword where it went, and so you decided to go back for your sword. And the other two were struggling to get free.
But they
So
did get, and they
did
did
they
make it
get
out of
free?
the woods. Yep, they did, because I was wondering, oh my God, am I going to be the only one who's going to go after the boys? And, how am I going to do this?
Right. So those two were rethinking what they were going
Yes,
to do
they
with their
stepped out
lives,
because they literally had no weapons.
rethinking life choices. Okay,
I was really tore up with that. I had no idea what was going to come next. So,
very good. So this begins where we are this evening. The forest is thick, but not like the old glade. This is not nearly as old of a forest as the others, but This forest has something the old glade doesn't. This forest had vines they discovered through the ice crusted snow, through the footprints that they followed of the boy Toma, who followed the fire swallow into the forest. Um, and Toma, not understanding anything about old stories and that sort of thing, was not super aware of the bird and its potential omens in being seen, and the vines themselves um, may have taken him. The question is, what will happen to the heroes? The heroes, um, after entering the forest, following Toma's footsteps as they, left the snow and into the jungle itself, struggled a little bit to try to track the boy. But it wasn't long before the vines began to grow rapidly around them, and these vines, very much a callback to vines encountered underneath the abandoned town of Willowhaven, the lost town. And this of course fresh in Jared's mind. He knew he had to do something about these vines, but the miasma that seems to have animated them um, quickly made quick work of these guys. And even Ashrin lost the top of her star metal staff to the vines as she tried to throw it. Who threw the?
I
Was that
punted
Jared?
it towards her,
Well,
so it
remember,
landed by her feet, but it didn't
Yeah.
do anything when I
You
expected it to actually do something.
you lit it up with mage fire and you tried to use it to burn the vines, and then discovered.
yeah, because my mage fire backfired and burned the entire staff.
Right. So then you just had, but it didn't. And the vines were resistant to
Yeah.
flame, and so there's a certain moistness and mist about them, that miasmic mist that kind of seeps away and kind of comes out of them. So now Jared has and around one leg, but he does have his sword back, and Maya is ready to come onto the scene. So I think at this point, Maya, seeing those two coming out of the forest as well. We'll put Jared up here in the forest just as the representation with the vines. Um, Maya will see these two having coming out of the forest, and now you know exactly where they are. You've been tracking them, but now you see them come out of the forest. Just two of them, though. So, what do you do, Maya?
Jared's not with them?
No, he is not.
Where's Jared? Is he
Came
still
out of the came. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
uh, where's Jared? Is he still looking for Toma?
Maya is speaking to Chewbacca and Ashran, I think.
Oh, okay.
You hear me bellowing, "You will not take me!
Yeah.
I will have the boy!" It echoes in pure rage.
I guess that
It would
answers
it
the
would seem
question.
so.
Yeah, Ashton just says, I believe that uh, makes it quite clear. He is still looking for the boy.
Is he within sight?
Jamie, we must get the boy.
Maya, what were you
Ash,
saying?
Is Jared within sight of us?
He's in the forest. It is pretty thick. It's just not like the old glade. It's not, not like this ancient forest that's been around forever and has lots of old tales about it. This is just a forest. This is, near the town forest.
I'm gonna see if I can backtrack or follow their tracks back to where Jared is, because it sounds like he could use an assist with the vines.
Yep. Yep. Okay, so for sure, you work your way. I'm going to just move some tokens around. You work your way into the forest. It is not far in where they started to be attacked by these vines. So you see, Jared, you hear him, so you can easily pinpoint where he's at. And Jared, as the vines try to tighten themselves around you, since it does have access to one of your legs here, it does try to put the squeeze on. So there's going to be some crushing pressure coming your way
I'm gonna
as a
slice down at it.
as a
It's the
consequence.
last
All
one
right,
that's holding me.
go
So
for it.
let's make sure I got everything that I need so that you can take off what we don't need. And that looks good. That's tracked outcome. Execute.
I don't see defend the weak being immediately relevant to this, but muster courage. You're alone in the forest. You can handle a blade. You have your shining sword, and you're stealing your will. Nothing gets to you, but there are nightmares, and you are entangled. And I think that will do. Go ahead and roll with that. All right. Well, that's a success. So the vine is going to just crush your leg as you chop it off. It kind of lingers as the whatever nervous system it might have just continues to squeeze onto you. So I'm going to give you a consequence. But you're also going to apply an effect of power to a tier 2 status to it. Let's see. So this would be crushing pressure. That's funny how it didn't do that. Okay. So we're going to give you, it's going to give you a status of like crushed 2. I think that makes sense. This is going to affect your leg. Unnamed status. There it is. Crushed leg 2. So you're wounded. You're gonna limp. You're kind of hobbled by that. So it's gonna affect how fast you can move and might affect combat maneuvers. So you've got that status, but you can give a status of 1 because you're going to use one of the power from that roll to get rid of your entangledness, right? Unless you want that leg to still be entangled by. Well, it doesn't
No,
have to
no,
let
I
go
need
of you.
to.
It could. Okay.
No, I can. I definitely gonna let go.
All right. So we're going to take entangled off, and you can apply a status 1 to the miasma like chopped 1, right?
Yep.
Okay, so that means it's now chopped 2. Pretty soon it'll be chop suey. All right. Very good. Maya,
Yep.
the,
Go
the
ahead.
vine withdraws, and just you can see the Maya mist around the vines. It looks like it's going to, like, the miasma itself is causing the vine to kind of heal. You can see it starting to heal. What do you do as you come into the forest?
Is there an a sort of center of where the vines are coming from, or is it sort of like an undifferentiated mass?
It's just coming up out of the ground. Yeah,
Ah,
absolutely. Different places. So right now, what you see are the ones that are near him.
And is he still entangled?
No,
No.
he's cut off the vine that had his leg, but his leg, you could tell he's injured. He's like grimacing and kind of holding his thigh a little bit.
Fire does nothing to it, Maya. Perhaps daylight. Magical daylight. I don't know. You hear me say
How
through
long
gritted
does
teeth.
it seem to run or get away from the vines? Like,
I don't think we know that yet. So Maya, you have a couple of options that you might want to explore. One is a straightforward assault on the vines, in whatever method you choose, probably related with your bow, no doubt. Or you can try to suss out if there's anything about the vines that any information you can gather, like you're now studying, looking for, you know, maybe what might be effective or what isn't effective, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I'd like to follow up on a little bit on Marshall Jared's suggestion about sunlight and seeing if there's maybe even if there's say a glimmer of light coming down and the miasma sort of flowing around it or
Oh,
anything.
sorry, important detail. There's no sun up right now. It's in the evening. It's in the late
Oh, that would
evening.
help. Okay.
Yeah, important detail.
That is
Okay.
That's why I screamed out magical.
Mm, I am not sure if that is one of my Witchwood things. Um, but yeah, I guess if I could further investigate to see if there's any sort of going back to sort of my base observation about like if there's like a hub or if there's anything I can discern about the miasma to sort of move us forward or maybe
Okay, so that'll be kind of an investigation. So you want to use some tags that you think might be directly related to the act of finding a weakness to these vines, or
And I tell him mage fire doesn't work, so he rules that out. I'm gonna try to help him out that way.
Has Ashern seen Maya use magic before? Besides the touching of the stone and having like the
no,
vision and stuff?
nope, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think she has.
yeah, that was she Maya she was using it with Jared alone and then the rest of the party grouped up and that was the obelisk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
why Jared's telling you that mage fire doesn't work.
Okay.
and Ashern's thinking you're talking to her about trying to
Yeah.
do some magical light, and she shouts out, "I lost my staff!"
no, it's on the
You're
ground.
more than your staff.
Can I use the end of your staff to hit things?
So Maya, what are your intentions here? What tags do you think are directly related to this trying to get some clues together on what your next action might be, or just learning a little bit about these vines? Is this the first time you've seen crazy homicidal vines before?
Yes. And
Yeah.
I think the first time Maya's also seen the miasma before.
Right, you've heard me talk about it, but
Right.
this is the first time you're witnessing it. And I'm angry. That's all my fear turned into pure hatred. I hate these. I hate this thing with a passion.
Yeah, I think those are great tags. Go for it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
very good.
With a 13, you will have 3 power to. So this is going to give you 3. I'll give you 3 bits of information about the miasma and the vines. You know that it is not at all susceptible to fire. they're too wet. They're too moist from the miasma. It looks like maybe you also you can deduce, perhaps even maybe from a little bit of your travels or your tinkering with your witch mark, that something that is like something can be defeated by applying its opposite, right? So you know that these are corrupted vines. This miasma is a dark power of like corruption. From what you've learned from Jared's stories and what you're looking at right now, that there's some kind of a physical corruption to these vines. The veins, they're like veins in the vines that kind of glow a little bit of a faint, thickly black light, like I don't know, it's hard to describe how black might glow, but there is an aura around them, let's say, that is kind of looking like sickly, corruption. It's kind of a black, oily substance that it's kind of oozing from here and there, and there's this little bit of a mist that looks a little bit like small gnats flying all around, but it's this mist. It's like little tiny gnats flying all over it. So this looks like a corruption site, or corruption. That might also work on these vines. Maybe this is backed up a little bit by Jared telling you his stories where they had an old wise one that traveled with him, and he would do some mumbo jumbo magic to
It was
purify,
exactly what I would say.
to
Mumbo
to
jumbo
sort of
timer.
purify that little soldier that had this miasma all over and through it just kind of fell over when he did some kind of a banishing or something. Just kind of like he could just see the gnats go like the mist just fly off of it, and so that's what he would have told you. And you're like, oh, okay, so banishing or purifying might also do it. So those are the things that you have learned from this. You do now sense that the ground is moving underneath you. You can feel it's under the ground, like roots are moving. Chewbacca, Ashwin,
Hey,
which of you want to like? Are either of you eager to jump back into the forest that just kicked your ass?
Ashrin is not. She's feeling really her self-esteem is really low right now, and she's scared.
Chewie, you go first.
Yeah, exactly.
Right behind you.
Lead the way.
well, I do have devotion, compassion for all, protect the weak, an unbreakable faith, so that's where I'm going.
Okay.
Come on, guys!
All right. So are you going to dive back into the forest? Charge back in there again?
Back into the vines.
Yep. Head back into the forest then? All right. Are you going to like maybe look for a stick, or do you have some kind of something you can use as a weapon?
No.
You're just going to go barefisted right at those vines?
Hmm?
Are you going to take on those vines with your bare hands?
Of course.
Of course. All right. Naturally. All right. So you charge back in.
I run as fast as I can, hoping to get beyond them and to encourage everybody with me to keep up.
Oh, so you're going to just try to run past the vines to the other side, continue on into the forest?
Yes.
Gotcha. I'm with you now. All right. Let's see if you can. How about a quick outcome for you to kind of dodge through the vines? You know, there's some there. You've got the forest against you a little bit here too, because it's dark and cold in the forest. So let's go ahead and have you make a quick outcome just to see how well you might succeed at that.
As I'm going, I start to pray to my goddess to help me, protecting the weak and the unbreakable faith. And I'm thinking that's kind of the counter to the black miasma.
So your prayers, are you trying to do something with the black miasma? Because what we're talking about is the action right now. I think you've defined it as running through or around, or in other words, avoiding the vines and trying to get past them and yelling for everyone else to follow. If that's
But
the case, then that's the action that we're talking about. If you think you want to do some other preparatory action, we can talk about that, but or a different
okay,
action. There's a different. Would you
yeah.
rather
So
do?
I want to do a preparatory action, like, and I want to like create like a ward around all of us to kind of
Okay.
protect us from the vines.
Okay. So you're praying for protection. Please protect me and these sorry companions of mine um, from the vines. Okay. I can go with that. So that would be the action that we're dealing with now. You've kind of run to the forest and you're kind of now praying for protection. So you want to try to maybe get a ward or something, some way to get the vines to not go, like some bubble of purity around you, right? Okay.
Is that fact or quick?
That would be tracked. Just do that as a tracked outcome. I was just thinking of giving you some way to roll to see how well you got yourself through the vines or if you were prevented from getting as far as you wanted to get, right?
Okay.
So in this case, the tracked outcome is fine. You're going to be praying to see if you can come up with, uh, oh, I must control my need to get involved. That sounds perfect. Um,
Ah,
and uh, okay, then compassion for all, like sure. Unbreakable faith, okay. Um, I understand why you would want to include team tactics. I'm thinking about that for a second. Then stand fast, which would be not run. That would be standing fast. Good. Okay. And
obviously, I'm doing this for the team.
of course, yeah. No, I think I understand it. But, all right, let's do that. But I'm also going to throw in dark and cold. And okay. All right, I'm good with that. So let's go ahead with that roll. I was looking for anything else out there that I could
Eee.
add. All right, so you succeed with a power of 2. So you can I think a status would be best for this, like protected 2. So we'll just
All
put
right.
that out there. I'm going to add that as a scene tag. I think you guys can see this if I add it. No, that's a tag, not that. Delete. A status. Can you see the scene box up here if I add a status that is
The scene box
See,
is up there
uh,
right now. It says dark and
yeah.
cold, ice crusted snow, and unnamed status -1.
how about blessed? Oh, and it's going to be blessed 1 because it'll take another power to cover more than one person, so small group. So blessed 1, that'll give you a little bonus to be able to use that status. And you may be able to click it when you create a mitigation roll. So if you're going to be taking damage, you can say, well, can I mitigate that with this blessed and maybe whatever else I got, a shield or something, right? Okay, so that's how you'd use that. All right, cool. All right, so with that, Ashton, you feel some warmth come upon you, but you also see that you're standing on the ice crusted snow, and not far from where Toma's footprints have broken through, and you've kind of seen these little tiny vines. But sure enough, the ground starts to shake underneath you, and you. I'm looking at my note here. You have roots tremble under you as vines begin to sprout underneath your feet. What do you do?
Well, she's going to run.
Okay.
She doesn't want to be anywhere near these things again.
All right, you're trying to avoid them.
But
Which way are you running? Into the
yeah, she's running after Chewbacca. Yeah, she don't leave me behind. She lets out an eep, a loud squeal from the vines.
Okay. So you start to run, and I want you to make a mitigation roll to face Entangled 2 as vines shoot up all around you, growing at incredible speed that will try to leave you entangled. So a mitigation roll, you may use the blessed in addition to any other tags that you can come up with to avoid being entangled. All right. Mountain resilience. That sounds good. Just passing through. Okay. We're going to turn that blessed into a yellow. Avoids attachments. I'm surprised you didn't try to use that as. Can I flip my weakness
actually would work.
around? I don't want it to be attached to me. But yet, easy scapegoat means we could pin it on you pretty good. So, metaphorically speaking, none of those tags would help you. I'm just passing through as a bit of a. But okay, light on your feet. I'm going to take away the pilgrimage. I don't think that applies, but blessed is good, and all the others are good. So there you go. Oh, I thought as an afterthought I should have added ice crusted snow on that to make it potentially slippery for you to go where the vines haven't crushed up through the snow. But it wouldn't have mattered with a 12. You mitigate all the consequences so you avoid being entangled completely and head back in toward Chewbacca where he's at. And he just is offering up, I'm sure, a little thank you. All right, Jared, these vines are whipping their way up. As a matter of fact, the vines around you are pulsing with a sickly light in a disorienting pattern. What will you do?
I'm going to slice and dice.
Hey, snicker snack. Let's see it happen.
Snicker snack, make it pay. Try to draw its attention and make it realize I'm the greater threat on the field. Maybe I can draw more vines to me.
Do you still have your sword?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he just recovered it.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Doing this to draw the vines away from the other two. In
Okay,
addition,
you're making a racket.
I'm
You're
making a
trying
bigger
to get
target
it.
of myself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I sense a feeble attempt at justifying a tag with
Oh
that
yeah.
sword.
Whether by an inch or a mile, if I can make a justification, it's good enough to roll it out in court. I'll try it. Let's. Okay, and that's it. Yeah, my next tag's going to be have my head examined. That's what I got.
All right. I'll go along with Mr. Courage. I'm not going to let you defend the weak. Sorry. You can handle a blade. You're using your sword, and nothing gets you. That looks familiar. It's like pretty much the same tags used last time. So I'm going to put your crushed leg against you. And I think instead of defend,
It was crushed like 3 because I did fix. I did take a 1 off of it. Was it 3?
oh, it would still be 2 then, because you would have had a 1. Well, I guess I didn't. Did you remove that
Yeah,
status? Oh,
I
okay.
did.
We should have combined them, but it's fine. It's totally good. Doesn't matter. If you had a 1 and you took a 2, it's still a 2. It's not.
Oh.
Doesn't become a 3.
Okay.
It's only if we hit one that you've already taken. Like if you got another 1, then it becomes a 2. So if you have
Oh, no,
2
no.
and you
Yeah,
take
but what I'm
another
saying
2,
is
it
that I
becomes a 3.
did succeed and use one of my powers to actually reduce the crushed. Was it
Oh, that would be
3?
mitigation. So that wouldn't be the. You got rid of entangled. That's what it was. You had entangled 1 and you did get rid of 1. But
Oh, this is crushed like. I got.
Yep.
Thank you for the clarification. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, no. It took me a while to catch up. All right. So with your crushed leg, let's see. Is there anything else that we can do? Yeah, it's it's big. So it has a scale of 1, which makes it like this larger thing that you're dealing with. It's an area now instead of just this singular vine or a couple of vines. It's now several vines, of course. So with all of that, I think we can confirm. Go ahead and roll. Oh, I missed one. Hold on. Nothing gets to me. All right, fine.
Yeah, it got to me.
Well, yeah, you were wrong. It did get to you. So what as you're swinging away, it's moving the vines and this odd mist. Um, it's like sickly light making disorienting patterns. And so you find yourself uh, um, this sickly light washes over you and it causes you to be disoriented. So you end up swinging at places where the vine isn't. So I'm going to give you disoriented 1 if I can get this thing to stay up long enough. Maya's in the way. Maya, out of the way. All right. There we go. So I'm going to give you disoriented 1. And that's going to count against targeting or like even your movement trying to get away. So if you're trying to run, crushed leg and disoriented are going to count against you. If you're trying to attack, disoriented is going to cause a problem for you. It's confusing because now you're getting some double vision, or it's almost like blurred, like you can't really tell where they're at. It's very this thickly light that's coming off of it is doing that. Okay, Maya, you see Jared having trouble swinging. He's yelling at it, trying to get it to. Of course, he's trying to very clearly get the attention on him, so all the vines will not mess with you. but you now see these vines coming up out of the ground all around you. What do you want to do?
Before I just wanted to clarify something real quick. What
Yep.
happened to Ashrin's staff?
First
Uh,
it burned up, then we lit the, or she lit the s- the tip of the staff, the star metal tip, on fire, and that didn't work. And eventually, um, Jared picked up the burning
he
tip
punted
and
it.
threw it. Yeah, and it still did nothing.
Hmm. Okay. All right. I think Maya's gonna do something stupid.
Hmm,
That seems to
okay.
Um.
be the theme for the evening.
Can't wait to see this.
So, when they were traveling into the old glade, she used her mark to form a link between her, the Snow Shard, and the obelisk or
Hmm.
the monument, whatever the official word we were using for it was. Um, and she would like to try to do that now with the miasma in an effort to purge it from the vines and sort of use that sense of the need for purification, um, and sort of drawing on her um, natural magics to sort of like reassert the natural balance, which is not something she's ever done before. So
You
So
can
you
do it.
are you are like jumping over to where the star metal tip of her staff is, and you're going to like connect to it, and then try to just like stick it down in the vines to maybe create some kind of purity between
yeah,
your witch mark, her star metal thing, and the ground.
yes,
Okay. All right. So Ashrin, this is a great place for you to interject and say something like, "Oh, I see what she's doing. She's rolled over and grabbed the thing. I want to begin to channel power through that to boost her or whatever, something like that. That would allow you to um, chime in basically and give her some tags that she can use to enhance
Okay.
her move. So,
Hmm.
what do you think you can do with that? If you're going to try to channel some magic through your staff tip, what tags you got for that?
So I'm trying to think with how I've made like the astromancy work and stuff. The star tip metal should work for anyone trying to tap into the power of the twin
Yeah.
stars.
No, I'm just tossing in. You could throw in a, oh, I'm going to do a light of the twins and um, using your star metal tag as well. You could go, all right, I'm going to try to roll and see if I can create some tags that she can use directly.
Yeah. Uh, what could I make?
So just things like um, powered is a good enough tag. Like you're powering the star metal staff head, right?
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
or just whatever tags. Like if you get a power of 3, you can go, okay, well, how about this, this, and this for 3 tags you can use to add power to your roll. Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, she'll see Maya. Uh, I assume like you pick up the tip, right?
yes,
Yeah, she'll see Maya pick it up, uh, and she'll try uh, channeling her power into the star metal tip. More as just like a repository of magic.
Right.
That's a tracked outcome, right?
Correct. Because then you're going to create tags for her to use.
I don't think I have many tags left to use on that.
So to create a tag, you'll need to do at least 2 power. So you'll need to generate 2 power, and then you can create a tag. And then that's a tag that Maya can use to complete her roll. So I think if you roll 10 or higher, you get the power plus 1 for your total power.
So I either have to come up with a second tag to get the 2 power or roll really well.
Right. You got it. That's exactly right. Yep. Those two work fine. And okay, so you're still in kind of the same boat. You got to roll really well. That's a power of 1 for that roll. Nice. Well, that's good. That's a 9. So you get a power of 1, and that's not enough to create a tag.
Maybe a crispy tag.
Of course, they're all crispy when you create them. A super crispy tag. That means you get to tag it, but it's not worth any power. Let's see. So that's not quite enough, and I would say that you're feeling drained, being far enough away from your staff, and the stars are not bright. You manage to kind of look up, and you're channeling from above. You're kind of bringing the power of the twins down and pushing it over there, and it just you just are challenged in your confidence. And so you didn't create a tag for her. All right, Maya, you go ahead. You don't have any extra help from her, but you can still do well. And you can, since you're involving her, let me think. Could you use, even her star metal tip staff, she's burnt that. So, or it got burnt in her abysmal failure of trying to cast that spell before. So I'm not even going to give you that star metal tip as a tag you can use. So go for it and see what you can do with what you got.
You basically just picked up a piece of metal.
It's very cold.
It looks nice though.
Yeah.
Yeah, your magic is unpredictable. Well, and you're trying to kindle old magic. All right. I'm cool with that. Go for it. There you go.
You're getting good rolls.
At the cost of burning everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so with your Mark of the Witchwood, you do a power of 3. So you're going to try to use purifying 3?
Yeah, so I was thinking like a purified or cleansed 3 status on the vines. I'm not sure what its limit is, but
Yep. Well, you're going to find out.
nice.
Here it comes. So with its scale of 1, I'm going to drop that back down to 0 and give it a purified 2 status. Which, of course, is not typing where I want. And of course, I can't get my straight. I wanted a status. Okay. Purified 2.
Is there any chance Ashran saw that? Because I know she can
Yeah,
duplicate
she
light.
she noticed.
Nice.
She has no idea what you did, so
Oh, she can't imitate it?
that's kind of part of her copying magic. Is yeah, the reason she's so studious and everything like that. She has to understand like kind of all the nitty gritty details of something in order for it to, you know, actually manifest.
Damn.
Okay. Chewbacca. All this
Yes.
stuff's going on around you. You come back out of your prayer a little bit, but you see that there is a resurgence all around the vines. There's a choking miasmic mist rising. It's helping to keep them moist and strengthening them. What do? You can see that happening, especially around where. So what happens is as Maya slams the star metal tip into the ground and channels the glow from her arm, it kind of wraps around the middle tip. It just goes like a like the sound wave or whatever goes all around her, and the vines kind of shrivel a little bit in those areas, and they're not so moist and swollen with this miasma. But then you see it resurge after she's done that. It looks like it's maybe trying to create this mist, and you can see that your vines where you're at are doing the same thing. This mist is rising up, and it's it's threatening. Like all around, the vines are trying to resurge, and it's threatening to maybe causing you to choke on them a little bit. What do you do?
Can Ashran actually uh, act on this?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
So
So the spotlight goes to Chewbacca, but you want to snag it for a second to do what?
yes, so two of the kind of spells Ashran learned in her uh, training years at uh, the mountain where the order practices um, was one mage fire and two aether winds. Uh, so she's actually sees this mist, you know, choking cloud or whatever, billowing all around them and stuff, and she's gonna want to try to create some aether wind to blow it away.
Okay. Chewbacca, what is your intention right here while Ashran sees what's going on and starts to do some of her mumbo jumbo, namby pamby stuff? What is it? That's the way Jared would describe it. What what is it that you're going to do in response to feeling this mist come up? It's you're almost starting to breathe it in. What is it you would be doing? What action would you do to respond to that?
Like, can I mitigate?
No, no, no. I'm just saying, if you notice this mist rising and it's rising really fast, the vines are growing again, and this mist is coming up to almost choke you. What would you do? What would be your action that you would take at that point? If you want, you can just try to mitigate choking. That's fine.
Like, would trying to raise my blessed work, would that help?
Yeah, you're gonna pray harder for the mist to not have any effect on you.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, you can do that. Okay, so
I'm going
you
to
go
ask
do that.
Boy's name and tell them how terrible his mother is missing him and how afraid, and try and use that as kind
Okay,
of a humanization, I guess.
for the prayer to protect you.
No. Well, yeah.
I'm I'm a little confused. So your action is to pray for the mist to have no effect on you, right?
Well, on
So
all
that
of us.
okay. Well, I'm talking about you right now, and so you can certainly try to amp up the blessing. That's fine. If that's what you want to do, um, you can do that. So Ashwin, you're going to try to blow the mist, the choking mist away.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. And Chewbacca, you can take your action to try to level up your blessing.
Should I do attract or
Track.
mitigate?
Yep. Nope. Tracked outcome.
Did I burn Unbreakable Faith?
I don't think so.
It's red.
Well, maybe you did unintentionally. Oh, I know what it is. You have it as a crispy tag. That's why the little leaf next to it means it's a one-time use tag. So we need to undo the crispy. And same goes with protecting the weak. That should not be crispy.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, looking. All right, so if I lock it back down again and then unburn that. Oh, yeah, so when you added the bonus, you probably clicked crispy too at the same time. So it's really should be, yeah, we'll deal with that in a second. All right, hold on. Light of the Twins, good memory. That one spell you remember working on over and over and over again. Seeker of the Order and requires concentration. And trying to think if there's another. Let me look here real quick. Yep, that's good. Just go with those. Okay.
Okay. It rolled for some reason.
That was Ashman rolling. So with a 10, you have a power of 2. So you may create the tag like Ethereal Winds or whatever. And you can put it as a story tag, but I think I'll put it out here as a scene tag.
Are you gonna put it as a scene tag?
Yeah, I'll make it a scene tag. That way others could tag it too. Ethereal. Learn to spell, Jim. Ethereal tag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
Ethereal Wind is now.
Aether Wind.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. From the theory of the Aether. Winds that carry ships in space.
All right, hold on. Now.
Is that a scene tag? Oh no, you turned it off.
Yeah, it should help people mitigate against the
That kind of
smog.
Tag. Yep. All right.
Can I add the blessed to my blessing?
Huh. No. Unbreakable Faith. Fine. This window came up weird. Um, and the ethereal wind is not going to affect anything. All right, go for it. Roll that. Is that right? The aether wind. Is that better?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so Chewbacca, you receive an answer to your prayer. And the answer is you must suffer as those on the battlefield suffer. And the blessing dispels.
Ooh.
All right. And you now have to mitigate choking. I'm going to inflict you with choking 1 you can use the aether wind to mitigate that. Go ahead and do a mitigation roll. Are you doing that?
Yes.
I just can't see it until the window pops up. So sometimes it's helpful, just FYI, for me, for you to execute the move first and then kind of slide that window off to the side so it doesn't disappear behind your character sheet. And then go ahead and start hitting tags on your sheet because then I see them appear as you tag them.
Okay.
I've been waiting for Chewbacca to make his move.
I love that song.
Sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to add the theory of wind.
Oh, you just go up in that corner up there at the top left and just click on it.
It's stuck behind my character sheet.
Okay, well, you can minimize your character sheet by double clicking the title bar of your character sheet, and that will minimize it into just the title bar. And then you can move the title bar around if you need to, but otherwise, then you double click your title bar again, it makes your sheet reappear.
Will it remove all my check marks?
Nope, just minimizes it. There you go. Okay, we're going to turn the ether wind into something good. All right, my new friends will protect me. That's totally good. Stand fast. I think you just used that, so you can't use it here. And Unbreakable Faith you can't use here. But Ether Wind you get to use. Anything else I can hit you with a negative? Do. Chewbacca. Nope, you're good. All right, here we go. Roll it.
Boom.
No.
5.
There you go. Okay, you get to spend 2 power to mitigate the consequences. So there you go. Well, that's wrong. That's the rule is you reduce it by 1, and on a 10 plus you remove it completely. So in this case, you would have received choking 1. So the aether wind helps you to blow past, and you can actually manage to not choke on it. So you do not receive a choking status. Jared, the vines, they are not happy. There's purifying going on. There's whacking and whacking going on. And then there's this wind that's nonsense. It's not happy. It wants to simply just attack you. The vines begin to just start to come right towards you to tangle you up. It's a big old attack coming up. What do you do?
Well, if I see 2 or 3 of the
Oh, yeah.
same images kind of moving in front of me, and they're kind
Sure.
of, that drunk
There are,
vision.
yeah, there are
I'm,
definitely
I'm
2 or 3 vines gathered in your name for sure.
I am going to try to um, pull back and sidestep and see if I can deflect them.
Okay, so that'd be a mitigation roll now. So you're going to
Yep.
welcome the entangling and you're going to try to mitigate it. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if I could. All right, I'll try these. See how I do.
Okay, so there wasn't more yesterday speaking to your moving out of the way.
Yep.
Find cover, trying to get behind a tree maybe, or put something in the way. And then you're using your sword.
To deflect them as they're moving forward. So kind of
Right.
batting them away as I'm pulling back.
Gotcha. All right. But as you move, you feel the pain shoot up through your leg, and you're still disoriented, working against you. Let's see how it goes. All right. Well, with an 8, you get to mitigate by 1, so you are entangled 1. It has got you. Certainly doing the business to you, sir.
Yep.
All right. So, Jared, I will tell you right now, the miasma in the vines begins to ooze, making them glisten with slime. Looks like you will begin to face some deeper. This is similar to what happened to you underground. You feel like this is going to infect you with more miasma. Something along those lines. Maya, what do? You see Jared getting tangled up again.
Can I? I don't. I don't. I don't. Trying to think of how this might work. I was wondering about creating a status on myself to boost a roll. Specifically, Maya is wondering if, once again, trying something she's never tried before, if she were to injure herself and use her blood as a possible juice for her mark, which would, I'm sort of imagining that creating a tier status of like harm, but I don't know if the rules allow for that kind of thing in a roll, or would that create a story tag?
Well, what I think you would do is you'd create a tag that you could then use in your role.
Okay.
That would be, my own blood or something like that would be the name of your tag.
Okay. That's what I would like to do then.
So a reflexive reach to your old hunting knife and right on the wrist. Then what? Or not on the wrist, on the. Everyone does it on the palm for some reason. That would hurt, and then you would have a hard time using your hand.
Yeah,
But
she's
what
gonna.
seems. Go ahead.
She would do it on her forearm.
Where the mark is?
The other one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let's see if you'll let me use these.
Yep. Okay, but I will tell you, yeah, and that's a very good use of Mark of the Ritual, but you just can't use it in the next action. If it's a preparatory action, that's exactly what those title tags are really good for using, is
Okay.
those preparatory actions, but then you would use whatever tag you create from it, right?
Okay.
In your
That's
actual
okay
action. Okay. Unless you don't. So you succeed, but so you do have a power of 2. You can create a new tag, but I'm going to give you a bleeding 1 as a status.
Makes sense.
Like it's enough that it affects you. You're like, huh? Maybe I shouldn't have done the forearm. Maybe I'm supposed to do the hand like everyone else does. Okay.
Certainly more dramatic
Yeah.
that way.
Because then I can squeeze. All right. All right. So now you can create a tag, and that would go. It's a crispy tag. You would just create it on your character sheet as a story tag of what doing that created. Like
I
my
would
own blood,
I would
or
have thought it's non-crispy because I have 2 power.
well, it takes 2 power to create one tag, and then another power, I think, to make it last, like the whole scene. Statuses you create with 1 power per tier, but tags are 2 power per tag.
Right, but I thought it's 2 to the tag to persist. Maybe I am wrong.
We have to create the tag first, and then to persist it. So we'll look that up later, but for right now, that's my call.
Okay.
So if you can show me, because I'm pretty sure I'm accurate on this, is that in order to make it persist, you need to power the tag that you've just created. It takes 2 power to create a tag, and then you add more power to it to make it affect more people or last longer, that sort of thing. Okay, so now you use your own blood with whatever you're trying to do to now use your magic.
Yes.
Okay. And what is that you're going to try to do? Are you powering your longbow with it, or?
I was trying to further purge it, but I was kind of hoping just to use the blood sort of as a fuel because I'm worried about continually burning everything just to
Yep.
keep my results high.
Right. For sure. Did you burn Kindle Old Magic in that last roll?
I did. On the first purge roll.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's why you rolled so high. Now I know.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying close enough attention. Okay. Yeah. So you could. Yes, you're going to resurge back down through the star metal staff tip and do another oomph of purifying.
Yes.
Go for it. So you could still use this. Let's see. No, star metal tip's not good. What else you got? Okay. I'm looking to see what else there is. There's. Yep. All right. Roll with that 1 power. Let's see what happens. Nice.
Wow.
So you'll actually have you have 1 power. If you want to have 2 power, actually 1 power is enough. So you add 1 more status, right, to the status of the miasma being purified.
And being over 10 gives another power, right?
That's what I thought, and I said earlier, but I seem to recall that what you can do is you can sacrifice your success level for an extra power. So you could like go down to mixed success, but you have an extra power. I had forgotten that initially. With City of Mist, I think, or at least the early playtest rules were you can add another power or something like that. So what I'm going to do though is show that the miasma has now taken another purified, and it shrinks back. Your pulse goes woo, 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 and there's this warmth that goes to the area of, contrary to its name, apparently the witchwood is not dark magic by nature. Sounds that way, but the mark of the witchwood is actually some kind of magic that is powered by good and purity. And so, with that, the vines recede completely. Jared, it unwraps itself from you and disappears into the forest.
You see me collapse on my knees, and I'm like, the boy. Find the boy.
Go on without me. Okay, so you have overcome the challenge of the miasmic vines. The forest is quiet for a moment, and the music needs to stop. There we go. Start that echoes of the forest.
I call out for Tome.
So there's no response.
Do I look at Maya and say, can you find his tracks?
Uh-huh. Ashrin, what are your next steps now that the threat seems to be gone?
If the threat seems to be gone, is it still cold and snow covered and everything?
Yeah. It's still that was not an effect of the miasma. That's
Oh,
the effect
okay.
of,
Okay.
that's the effect of the time of year.
Okay, so it actually is winter-ish time.
Yes.
Okay. Uh, did we see tracks for Toma?
Yeah, we were
Coming
following
into
them.
the forest because the snow made him easy to track. In the
Right.
forest, you could still find signs of where he went, but it just wouldn't necessarily be footprints.
And did the Firebird thing, is that gone?
It is not within sight.
Okay. Well, Ashrin is good at noticing small details, so maybe she can still find a light path or trail to find this Toma boy.
Sure.
I'm putting my hands next to my mouth and I'm bellowing, Tommy! Tommy! Call out! Help us find you!
Is this a tracked outcome?
Yes. Doesn't have to be, though. I'm okay with it not being tracked, but it's fine. Okay, yep, attention to detail. On a pilgrimage.
Hey, they figure out how to find paths and
All right, go for it.
No.
Not much of a tracker.
no.
Pilgrims just follow the stars, man. They're looking up
Yeah.
for where to go.
Yep.
Sorry, Maya may have a better chance at it. there's a tracker tag. What do you know? Keen senses. And bring them out of their shell. Ah, as if he was hiding himself. But you are dealing with supernatural beings. So I think we'll do that. Go for it. There you go. All right. So with the 12, you have a power of 2. So that's good enough. It's actually, I really shouldn't have done tracked. I should have done a simple outcome, right? Um, but in this case, you do find your way to where you think um, Toma is, and as you come to a small uh, space between two large trees, where the roots of the trees have kind of twined together, uh, braided themselves, if you will. Um, you see where someone is lying there, but it does not a 9-year-old boy. It looks like a young man.
Maya would crouch down. Uh, Say, sir, are you lost?
So
Uh-oh.
you see this young man, and
Hmm.
he opens his eyes. He looked like he was sleeping. He opens his eyes, and he is wearing clothes that are too small for him. Um, and so it looks like he's wearing shorts and a vest with his shirt up that rides up. So he blinks, and you notice immediately that one of his eyes has a faint kind of a bluish purple glow to it, and around that eye is veins that have that black miasma, but it's got a faint glow to it, all the way down his jawline to his neck and down underneath his vest. The one eye is clearly not the same as the other, right? And he looks at you and he looks confused and very scared. Aren't
As
who?
as I use my sword to approach, I look at him and Tome,
My lord, well, what's going on?
put yourself at rest. You're not in danger. You're amongst friends.
I almost caught the Firebird.
It almost caught you. Some things have changed for you. You're going to have to understand that slowly. But you have help and you have friends that'll see you through it. Come out, and I coax him out of the tree.
So he kind of he stands up and he just looks and he goes, "You got smaller."
You got taller.
He looks down. What? And then all of a sudden his whole demeanor relaxes and he looks up very calmly. You have not changed since the last time we encountered you, Marshal Jared.
It's not in his tone or demeanor anymore, is it? It's not
No,
that boy.
right.
What's your title now, Jared?
Well, I'm a baron, but I'm still not used to those trappings, so I usually just go by Marshall. um,
say it's Baron Jared.
Is it the miasma that I'm addressing?
Yes. The miasma is listening.
Why are you in these woods?
The miasma reaches far and wide.
What does miasma want?
Ashton will interrupt and say, "What are you?"
The miasma.
What do you want?
To be left alone.
Where do you come from?
The miasma does not come from anywhere.
Why are you here?
So the miasma can speak to you.
Does the miasma want peace?
Miasma wishes for peace.
The very first sign of peace that you can offer is to leave this host. Can you do that?
This child is only the first to awaken.
What purpose do the awakened serve?
To bring peace.
And how will this peace be accomplished by you?
The river parts. The roots reach. You will follow.
You want to make more awaken.
There is no harm. Only change.
That is a matter of perspective. But I will hear you out. I turn around and look at my comrades, and they see me just put my hands on my face, and I am not happy with what I'm hearing, but if they want to go ahead and continue with questionings, by all means, please do so.
I can't think of any questions at the moment.
This was a boy when he entered the forest. How can we bring him as a young man back to his mom and have her accept him in this state?
The miasma could not live within the boy. So the miasma made body not a child.
Can
And
the
if
miasma make this a child? Can it undo what it did?
To what purpose?
good faith return to what was as should be.
You wish not to commune with the miasma?
Nation says, "Oh, we do. But can the boy come home?"
Sorry, I didn't make enough rice the first time, so I had to make some. But all the broccoli beans just
Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
I reach out, grab the boy's arm. Leave the boy and take me.
The miasma remembers you.
I remember the miasma. I am stronger than the boy. Leave the boy.
Your warmth. Your fear.
And yet here I am. And I will be here longer than you will be. Leave the boy.
There is no harm.
Ashrin turns to Jared and says, "Let's just take the boy back. I can study him."
I turn to Ashran. I'm like, he to go back to a mother like this. He is not a specimen to be studied. He is a human being.
If we take him back, won't the miasma just spread from him?
Ashrin just shrugs her shoulders. Says, "I don't know, but it says it wants peace."
Be careful.
Can I go home now?
I look. What do I see?
It's dark and it's scary.
Is it the man talking like a boy now? The young man talking
Yeah.
like a boy?
Yes.
I have a cunning plan.
You have a what?
A cunning plan.
Care to share?
Well, not in front of a boy.
Does it
My lord?
include? Yes. Yes, tell me.
When can we go home? I don't like it here.
I don't blame you.
And there's no birds.
But that blue vein, that's on him, right?
Yeah, it's still there.
Bloody hell.
Ashrin says, we'll find the bird later. Let's go home."
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Why am I so big? You see
Forest magic.
grew up.
in the little bed that forms between the braided roots, you see the last of some miasmic vines withdrawing under the trees down into the deep ground.
I'd like to take Toma aside for just a second so Chewbacca can describe his plan. So I don't know if maybe Maya has a little something in her pack that Toma can play with.
Okay. Maybe we can find a stick.
I'm sure
And
there's sticks somewhere.
I can have a sword. All right, so you guys step away. The rest of you can talk.
What is his plan?
I don't know what your local customs are, but I have seen in my travels many times holy people able to cast out spirits that are taking over a person's mind. We have some holy people back at the town. Surely they might be able to give us a ritual to drive out the spirit, or they probably know more people, more faithful people that can do it.
That's actually a good plan. I mean, I've heard, like, in tales of some things like that, but they're very dangerous. It could kill the person as much as it could cure them, but there's so much more at risk here. I look at Ashern and I go,
I don't think
peace.
there's going to be a nice way to drive a spirit out of someone.
Peace could be by taking it over. We don't have any idea whether or not this miasma wants to just take over the world and make it peaceful that way. We have no clue. But it's understanding, however alien it is, of peace. You could burn this whole forest down and it'll be peaceful the next day.
I feel like it wouldn't look very peaceful after that.
Depends on your definition of peace.
Maybe, but we won't know until we study it more.
I'm sure there are learned men that we could
That
ask
is wise counsel.
to give us the right solution.
It's wise counsel. I thank you for it. And yes, I think that's the proper course. Although explaining this to his mother and why he can't necessarily go back home immediately, I think we're all in agreement for that at least, right?
Yeah.
Where's he gonna stay then?
I'm sure we might be able to keep him in, what was it, Osric's? The gentleman who passed away, his domicile?
The hunter, yeah.
The hunter's domicile. He would have to be watched with guards, as your suggested clergy may perform what we request, they may not. But for right now, sending him home unsupervised is extremely reckless.
I'll stay with them.
Well, obviously can't be unsupervised.
Is that is that Ashton who volunteered to stay with him?
Yeah. You know she's excited to poke and prod the boy.
Yeah, I look at her and I'm like, be careful.
When I do this, how much does it hurt?
All right, so then that seems to be a good idea. We'll call Maya and the boy over and we'll head back. And man, this is gonna be one hell of a tale to twist.
All right, so you guys head back to Highglade, where the festival has kind of had a wet blanket thrown on it. People are still talking about seeing the firebird, the fire swallow, and then there are other people who are very worried and concerned about Toma returning, and Martha is there, and she's helping to organize the women into, comforting people and kind of forming little, you know, support areas where people are kind of talking to each other and
I'm using my sword as a cane to stable my steps.
yeah, well, okay, sure.
Unless I find something a branch that'll make for a good makeshift walking stick coming out of the woods.
Yeah. There are some others maybe in your group who might be looking for a new good stick.
Staff as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's that?
But I will give you my arm if you need help.
You can retrieve your
Okay.
sword. Make sure you get your stuff back. It should be lying on the floor somewhere.
Can you see that Ashton go? Okay. Ashton grabs Chewbacca's arm and sticks the top of her staff onto his hand. Okay, so you all go walking or hobbling back to town, and the rest of the group are waiting there to see that if Toma's come back with you. And Toma's parents, who are with Martha, they get great hope, and then suddenly they're like, "Where's our son?"
Yeah, I pull them to the side and I explain gently the scenario as best one can of the encounter in the woods and how through
We could tell him he
means.
wandered into the fairy realms and came
Yes,
back
that's
older.
exactly something akin to that. I was thinking that same explanation, but we're not sure the nature of the magic. It is your boy. Give you my word on that.
The mom goes over to this 18-year-old and looks at him closely. And, Toma, is that really you? Mama, Ma, you got shorter. No, no, son, my dear boy. And she holds his face and she kind of caresses his face and brushes the hair out of his eyes. And she says, "Oh, my little boy got big. I know, Mama. I'm strong now, I think. I could probably lift like a whole barrel." Well, son, and she begins to trace the lines that run down around his eye and his cheekbone down to his jaw. She goes, "What happened? What happened to you?" I don't know, Mama. I was just going in to the forest after the bird. I was going to catch that fire swallow. I was so close. I was so close. I almost got it. And then I got real sleepy, and so I laid down to rest for a little bit. And then these people woke me up.
Yeah, I walk over to the father and I explain to him that due to the nature of not knowing exactly what happened to his son, we'd like to keep him under observation and have the clergy overlook him to see if such a thing can be reversed or if his condition can be remedied. It's the best that can be done given what we have.
Squints at you, and he looks at the boy, and he kind of looks at his boy, and you can have him. That ain't my son.
Ooh.
My son's 9. That ain't my boy no more, if it ever was.
let the mother have some time with him, but then I am going to talk to her about how he's just going to stay with us for a little bit so that we can run some tests and see if his condition can be reversed.
She gets very hopeful about, you mean I'll get my little Toma back again?
I don't know if you'll get back your little Toma, but maybe you'll get a, let's say, less vain child.
For a moment, Toma calms and his expressions go bland. And he just looks around.
We'll do our best. I grab her hand, both of mine. I look her in the eyes. We're going to do our best by him. We got him back. That's a start.
Okay.
I'm not going to keep this as a secret from the Viscount, but I am going to tell the Viscount that I am not sure the outcome of this. Because I'm sure he's going to hear word of the fact that we came back with a man and not a boy. Ashrin, does this put you kind of close in age to him? How old are you?
She's 19.
Close enough. Buddy up.
I think his mental age is still
Yes, but you can
pretty
at
young.
least be as a closer friend of age than an old guy trying to talk to you.
Well, she's certainly interested in, you know, getting to study everything about the new body, the glowing eye, the veins, all that sort of stuff.
And then
So
pretty
she
much
will
like
definitely spend time with him.
Chewbacca said, we can put his plan into effect. I think that's good counsel.
Yeah, she's willing to share whatever details she finds with his magic men.
I pull Ashrin to the side, out of earshot. If it takes over and starts talking, jot down what you hear. It could be important.
No need to ask that. I would have done it anyways.
Hey,
I'm gonna go see
so
Martha. I was so close to death, Martha. Again.
she's like, oh, look at you. What have you done to yourself?
Had to save the boy. You know that.
Did you have to be so careless doing it? How did this happen?
Same way as almost last time.
Sit-
Wrapped up on
sit
me,
down
really
here,
crushed me like a can.
Sit
I
down
sit
here.
down.
Let's have a look. So she
She'll see
kind of
dented
checks.
armor. Like she'll see crushed
Oh
dented
yeah,
armor.
absolutely.
Like I literally went through hell.
She's like, holy, what? She's like, well, for starters, let's get this armor off you. It doesn't fit anymore. So she just like takes off you have these greaves and like whatever, it goes over the midsection and or the thigh area. And so she looks at that and she's like, goodness. Well, we'll get someone to fix this, but how about you? How are we going to get this fixed?
Maybe I'll have another beauty mark.
Maybe we should put you at the forge as well.
It take too long to fix. I'll break down in my own time. Don't worry, Martha. I've been through worse. I swear, I think that miasma's gonna have my number one day. But it ain't today.
We'll get a bigger number. So
We're
any other?
slowly gonna make our way back to the estate because I think the party's kind of gonna break up a little bit.
Mhm,
People
mhm.
are just gonna go home.
Yep. All right. So you begin. Do you wait till morning to go back, or do you go back in the middle of the night?
I think we need rest. I would be if I was whole, I'd head out, but I got pretty banged up.
Very good. So Lord Vancroft will put you up for the night, um, and have his barber have a good look at you. The answer is clearly to bleed you. So,
I know. I'm watching the leeches and I'm going, damn leeches.
mm,
If it's not vine leeches, I swear.
that's right. All right. So then, is there any scene that you want to have before you leave in the morning?
I do want to thank the Viscount for his hospitality again and to extend my generosity and kindness towards his wife. I will talk to the mother of Toma again, assuring her that, I'll send word. Try to soften. I don't know how successful you'll be in softening your husband's position. He seemed pretty harsh when I talked to him. I'm sure you've already encountered it. But rest assured, that is your boy.
He is changed. I've lost my boy. I mean, think about it. Think about it, my lord. I've, I, his whole childhood was taken from him. If he died and came back an 18-year-old. He's a man now. He doesn't even. I mean,
I think he needs you even more now.
most young men his age are eager to strike out on their own.
And I'm
But
sure he'll strike out on his own, but he'll
he is not ready for that.
So what is he going to stay at our home and another 10 years until he's ready to move on?
Sure,
But then he'll be
why
like,
would he? He's your son. It's like if he had gone off to
well,
war and came back. Wouldn't you welcome him home?
how many
Welcome him home.
9-year-olds go off to war? I mean, I understand my
Hey,
husband's position. He's
he's
not
changed.
wrong.
He's changed. Yes,
That he has.
I agree with you on that. But that doesn't mean that you should throw him out.
I'm not throwing him out. You think he'll stop being my son no matter what age he is? He'll be my son at 50, should he live that long. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying he's no longer my boy. That's what my husband is saying. My husband had great plans
Oh,
on how to
okay.
raise him.
I understand that.
It's a father's pride. He's not wrong. He's not entirely right, but he's not wrong. Don't judge him so harshly.
I put my hand on her shoulder and I go,
I was not judging.
hear you. I would not judge him. I am merely saying that when the young man comes back, try to keep an open mind. with that, I squeeze her shoulder, and we'll head
And
home.
she begins to cry, and as she turns from you, sobbing, and we will mourn him. And she keeps going off.
All right, we're going to make our way back.
Okay. So you have potentially an uneventful trip back. The roads are busy with other people going back as well. So you're traveling with others. And Toma is walking alongside the cart, your little wagon that you've got. And he looks at, he catches your eye at one point, maybe during a break when you're getting water or whatever for the horses and such. And he says, "You are already becoming."
Already becoming what?
There is no need to fear the rest. What is it you wish to know?
How many awakened are there?
This body is the first.
What do you hope to accomplish with more awakened?
Do you wish to be the first? You understand. This boy was alone. Now, he is never alone.
But he's also no longer a boy.
He has a living family. That does not sound alone.
He was
It is.
deprived of the opportunity to grow like the miasma wishes to grow.
There was no harm.
I beg to differ.
There's only change. Did his family cease to be?
He changed their relationship in an unfixable way. That is so very much a thing humans
Cherish.
love, cherish. They make it as important as life itself.
Names are leaves. They fall. This body can root. There does seem to be a delay as this young man speaks, especially between question and answer, like he's spending more time than most humans spend thinking of an answer. He seems to be thinking more slower or
More carefully.
yeah, thinking longer.
Time will tell. It always does.
Toma looks over at Chewbacca. Your pain is brief. Your belonging is eternal.
Well, of course you would not understand that. You are not mortal. Time has no meaning to you. But the boy, will he continue aging? Will he die eventually? Will you die with him? Are you mortal?
He is now joined. He will always live now. Even when he dies, he will live on.
But his parents, his family, they will not. It will cause him immense sorrow as he watches everybody die around him.
No. In the stillness, we wait. In the mist, we listen. They do not need to be alone. They do not need to wither.
But you are still missing the point that everyone he loves will die. And
Why would
you need
why
to
would that be?
understand the concept of death.
Yes.
At least spend some time thinking about mortality and death, and also the relationships of people, especially family and friends. Because from our point of view, what you had done is reprehensible.
It was inevitable.
Anybody who's watching Jared should be seeing his eyes start to narrow and his expression turn a little bit more sour with each word that escapes.
Ashern
But
has
I turn
been
my face so that it isn't visible to it. And absent-mindedly, my hand starts to move towards my sword, and I stop myself.
Ashern has been writing detailed notes of all the conversations people have been having, to include things like little tiny details, like physical mannerisms that might distinguish when the miasma is controlling the body and when child is in control of the body.
You're looking for tells.
Yeah.
Joined can be of service.
For
This
what?
body
What
can help.
purpose? With what?
Bring understanding. The
And
miasma has always been. This is the first
But why
of
now?
both human and miasma.
Why now?
To talk to you, to
talk
understand you.
To talk to humans?
Yes, Baron, Jared.
You hear me growl under my teeth? Just, I knew he was going to say that. You see the red in my eyes tinge a little brighter. Just a little.
You are already becoming.
Excuse me. I think Martha needs me. And I walk away.
And he just slowly turns toward Ashwin. Hey, what you writing there? Are you drawing pictures too?
Yeah.
I can draw pictures.
She'll tear out a sheet of paper and hand it to him with a charcoal pencil and tell him, draw whatever you want.
Okay, he begins to make these scratched lines on the paper and then he looks at it and he scribbles this one area. Then he kind of licks his thumb and he smudges a part of his thumb and he's like, look, I made a dog. It doesn't look anything like a dog. It's not very.
Yeah.
not a dog.
Ashton copies
Dog.
the image into her notebook.
And
That could be
then-
the most important not dog in the world.
And then he kind of stops and his head kind of slopes down to look at the paper. And then he begins to fold the paper. And he folds it, and he folds it, and he folds it some more. And then when he's done, he holds it up. And suddenly his eyes light up. He goes, whoa! And it is actually like an origami dog, and the hole marks form patterns on the fur. And he's like, cool, or whatever would be the right thing to say. And then he gets pretty excited about that, and he's like, row, row, row. He starts barking like a dog. And then he goes over to the wagon and he starts to move the dog across the edge of the wagon, and he sets it there and he goes, this will help keep the wagon safe. His name safe is Jumba. Jumba the dog.
Nice to meet you, Jumba.
Be careful, he bites strangers.
Well, luckily we're all friends here.
Yeah, so he'll protect you. And me. And Mom. Dad can take care of himself. He's really good at fighting. When he wrestles me, I'm pretty strong though, and so sometimes I can get him pinned down and he can't move. I bet I could do even better now. Now I'm taller.
You are, but I think you should be very aware that you might hurt him if
Me
you.
hurt my dad? No way. No way.
Uh, but you could accidentally.
What, like poke him in the eye or something?
Well, that could happen.
We
But
would not harm him. The father would be safe.
mm, what if the other villagers beat him up or stop hiring him? Anything because his son is abnormal. There are many ways to harm a person.
This new normal is superior. Small boy was weak. He is now stronger. How is this harmful?
As you stole the context of becoming harmful from him, now he doesn't know how to not hurt people. He doesn't know why hurting people is wrong.
Yeah, I'm on the carriage and I'm just listening in. I'm just like looking straight but listening.
You can feel your hesitation.
Why did you decide to start spreading so recently if you've always been here?
Well, I don't think recent has much of a concept to him.
We were awakened.
By who?
We do not know.
Do you know where it occurred?
Everywhere.
You are everywhere. At that, I do turn my head. You are everywhere.
We are everywhere we are.
When I first encountered your kind, the ones I ran into were hostile. Why are they? Why were they violent? And you seem so restrained.
This is the nature of the vine, not of the beast. Men are violent. Beasts are violent. This
So,
boy is not.
I'm gonna need such a cup of coffee when I get home. I'm rubbing my temples. I am nursing a headache.
Maya's gonna lean over to Ashrin and try to speak lowly enough that um, Toma slash my husband doesn't hear, and she's like, Ashrin, do you have a lie detecting spell or anything like that?
She looks at Maya, kind of puzzled, like, no? Do you know someone that can cast that? I'd like to meet him.
I don't know. You know magic. I thought maybe that might be on your list.
I'm kind of, still young and inexperienced in magic, so I know a few, but not a lot.
This is a big surprise to Maya. She thought Ashwin was like a really advanced wizard.
I just play one on TV.
Kind of disappointing.
Not disappointing. Just sort of like making her reevaluate because she had sort of like had an implicit sense that Ashwin was our expert on magic.
I'm generally a pretty good at knowing when someone is trustworthy, but I don't know if that's lying enough, or spirit may not understand what trustworthy is.
Explain trustworthy. What is trust?
Trust is opening yourself to people, letting them know that you will help them, that you will help them, well, that you will do things for the people you trust. You can let them watch you because you can trust that they will not stab you in the back or steal your gold. A trustworthy person does what they say. A trustworthy person is not a harm to the people who trust him. But trust doesn't come free. Trust is built between people, friends, family.
And it is work.
How do you build a trust?
Through actions. great and small.
What kind of
Why,
actions build trust?
you could try to build trust with your
I
father
trust
and mother.
you to not awaken anyone else. I need that people are safe.
People are never safe.
From the action of being awakened.
But people in great number working together are way less vulnerable.
You hunt for the miasma to not join with any others.
Yes, at this time, do not do such thing.
This is not unreasonable. I wish to build a trust.
But
Sorry,
it's very
it would
noble.
say we wish to build a trust. Would never refer to himself as I.
That is very noble. And I hope you manage to do it. But it can take a long time, especially if people are afraid of what you can do.
What is a long time?
To you, a blink of an eye. For us, a much longer time.
It doesn't show any emotion on its face, but the way it blinks its eyes hints maybe that it was a little confused by that.
Good. I'm giving it food for thought. Maybe it'll just reflect on it and forget about the other trains of thought, that it was entertaining. For now, I have to look out for the safety of the people under my charge. So we will head to the estate. We will break bread. We will talk and get to know this new Toma a little better. And then I strongly urge that he stay in the residence of the hunter that's now empty, so that he can be under watch and Maya can study him. I'm sorry, Ashran can study him a little better.
Okay. Cool. Then that is where we will end it for tonight. With the camera kind of closing in on the blank-faced Toma. And then he animates a little bit on his face, and the eyes break the fourth wall and look directly at the camera. And then it fades to black. All right, so with a real quick review of characters, and let's go ahead and say goodbye to our YouTube audience of 3 views today. Yay, welcome. Hope you have a good time watching whatever the heck we're doing. We're still figuring it all out. So thanks for joining us, everyone.